Electric vehicles were supposed to be the future of driving, but something unexpected is happening. Automakers are pulling the plug on their EV plans. Why? What's causing this sudden shift away from electric dreams? In today's video, we're uncovering the surprising reasons why major car manufacturers are hitting the brakes on their EV ambitions, from supply chain chaos to consumer hesitations. So let's find out together. With automakers other than Tesla selling EVs at a loss, many have started to rethink their strategies. Last week, Ford CFO John Lawler noted that while the COVID-19 pandemic initially boosted EV sales, the surge was driven by early adopters. Once those buyers were accounted for, broader consumer interest failed to materialize. As a result, automakers are scaling back their EV ambitions, focusing instead on hybrids and other profitable models. While this shift may be necessary in the short term, there's a risk that companies could fall behind as the world moves towards an all-electric future. Balancing immediate financial realities with long-term innovation will be crucial for automakers navigating this transition. Mainstream buyers aren't yet fully embracing electric vehicles, largely due to concerns about range and other practical issues. Ford CFO John Lawler explained that while EV sales will continue to grow, the pace will likely be slower than in the past. He believes Ford's second-generation EVs will bring profitability, but these vehicles won't hit the market until late 2025 or 2026. In the meantime, Ford has delayed the start of EV production at its Blue Oval City campus in Tennessee to 2026, a year later than initially planned. The company also announced it's retiming the launch of some upcoming EV models. General Motors is taking a similar approach. The company has scaled back its ambitious EV plans, with CFO Paul Jacobson stating that GM now expects to produce 200 to 250,000 EVs this year, down slightly from the original 200 to 300,000 unit target. Despite this, Jacobson highlighted that GM is gaining significant market share in the EV space, with over 9,500 EVs sold in North America last month, and strong performances from models like the Chevrolet Blazer and the Cadillac Lyriq. These strategic shifts by Ford and GM mirror similar moves by Stellantis, another major automaker. Stellantis paused development on a joint venture battery factory with Mercedes and instead partnered with China's Leapmotor to produce EVs. Mercedes, once committed to being all electric by 2030, has now adjusted its goals, expecting only 50% of its sales to be electrified, a mix of hybrids and full EVs by that year. These changes reflect a more cautious approach by traditional automakers as they navigate the challenges of transitioning to an all-electric future while balancing current market realities. Germany's Volkswagen has recently scaled back its EV ambitions, notably canceling the U.S. release of its ID.7 EV sedan last month. According to Volkswagen Passenger Cars CEO Thomas Schaefer, customers in key markets like China and the U.S. are showing a stronger preference for plug-in hybrids rather than fully electric vehicles. So, how did automakers misjudge this timing for EV adoption? Carl Brower, executive analyst at IC Cars, explained that the pace at which Americans are embracing EVs was overestimated. Getting from a 3 to 7% EV market share was much easier than going from 7 to 10%, he noted, adding that reaching 20 to 30% is still very far off. Kevin Roberts, Director of Industry Insights at Car Gurus, pointed out that the push for rapid EV adoption was driven by government goals to reduce emissions and automakers' desire to replicate Tesla's financial success. He suggested that skipping a transitional phase with hybrid powertrains may have been a misstep. This transitional period could have given consumers more time to get comfortable with the technology while allowing infrastructure like charging stations to catch up. For automakers like Ford and GM, shifting focus back to gas-powered and hybrid vehicles seems logical. These vehicles are already profitable, and partnering with Chinese firms for EV production has been well received by investors. Wall Street sees this strategy as a more sustainable approach for now. According to Garrett Nelson of CFRA, automakers best positioned to benefit from the growing popularity of hybrids include Asian manufacturers like Toyota, Honda, and Hyundai, as well as Ford in the U.S. These companies are likely to capitalize on the current market demand, bridging the gap between traditional vehicles and the all-electric future. The initial rush to fully electrify may have been premature, and a more gradual transition through hybrids could be the key to easing consumers into the EV market while the necessary infrastructure is developed. Automakers are now recalibrating their strategies to align with consumer preferences and market realities, ensuring that they remain competitive in the evolving automotive landscape. In 2023, Ford saw significant success with its traditional hybrid pickup trucks, selling 52,361 units of the Maverick and 50,103 units of the F-150. Stellantis also performed well, with its Jeep Wrangler 4xe and Grand Cherokee 4xe becoming the top-selling plug-in hybrids in the U.S. last year. However, Garrett Nelson from CFRA pointed out that automakers like GM, who have focused more heavily on fully electric vehicles, are now facing challenges. The big question is whether companies like Ford, GM, and Stellantis, which have scaled back their EV investments, will eventually lose market share as the EV landscape continues to evolve. Meanwhile, companies that have remained committed to EV innovation and spending may emerge as the leaders in the eventual EV transformation. Chinese EV manufacturers are charging ahead, introducing new vehicles with advanced technology and self-driving capabilities. Brands like Xiaomi and established players like BYD are leading the way. According to IC Car's Carl Brower, Chinese companies have several key advantages in the EV space, from controlling the global lithium supply to aligning their government and manufacturing sectors to reduce production costs. Stella Lee, CEO of BYD Americas, emphasized this point in an April interview with NBC News, saying, "American automakers are not ready. We are ready. We're ready for the technology, and we're more ready for the supply chain." In response to the growing threat from Chinese EV makers, the U.S. and the European Union have introduced tariffs against them, with the U.S. quadrupling levies to 100% and EU rates reaching as high as 38.1%. However, history shows that tariffs and trade restrictions are rarely a long-term solution. The failed restrictions on Japanese automakers in the 1980s serve as a cautionary tale. Given this context, the old saying, "If you can't beat 'em, join 'em," might apply to how companies like GM, Ford, and Stellantis approach their EV strategies. Adam Jones of Morgan Stanley recently wrote in a note to clients that Western automakers, including Tesla, have seemed to collectively realize that China has won the race for EV dominance. Jonas predicts the industry will enter a new phase characterized by lower spending, increased protectionism through tariffs, and likely cooperation with China in producing and developing EVs. Well, we certainly hope you like this video. If so, then like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to hit the bell icon for more content like this. And we thank you so much for watching and invite you to come on back.